Mm. Hey y'all, welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered Call-In Show. Have a seat. Let's get ready. You have any questions? Come on, call in. Come on to that Discord channel. Do me a favor, get the unfiltered crew some finger snaps. We're ready to get started here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Every single Monday, we're here. I'm excited about it. Are you? Let's get this show started, y'all. The greatest Scrum show on earth. I'll see y'all soon. Enjoy. Hey. We're here once again. Once again, we're here, right? I'm gonna have to lower my camera. My camera's a little higher than what it normally is, so I'm gonna have to lower it a little bit because I should be a little bit taller, like a little bit higher. Anyway, welcome. My name is Devon Morris. I'm your guide on this journey as usual, talking about team effectiveness, leadership, all kinds of things like that, Scrum, Agile, entrepreneurship, just a whole litany of things. Hopefully you're doing just fine. I see Patrick. How you doing, Patrick? I'm doing great, brother. Hey man, living life, man. Just over here trying to figure the thing out, man. I was about to curse for a second now. I'm just trying to figure the thing out, man. That's all I'm really doing, man. So hopefully you're doing all right. Let me know how things are going with you, man. For real. It's a journey. I'm gonna get this thing back going every couple weeks. Jump into space, man. Jump in the gauntlet. See if people got questions. So there's gonna be an interesting day because we're gonna talk. We're gonna really talk about, really there's a difference here, right? I've been changing up the script, right? And so what I want to talk about is bringing in a little bit of that dissertation thing in, talking about team effectiveness, you know, but I want to spin that with AI today, right? Because I think that there's going to be new levels of performance, right? Because of it, and it's one of those things where it's just like, I don't know how we don't all get on the bandwagon. How you doing, CT? How's it going? So volume's low. Oh, thank you. Let me go ahead and throw my headphones on, and maybe that'll switch it up. So let me to work it out a little bit more. So hopefully the volume has gone up. Hopefully that is the case. If it is not, I'm about to figure out a different way to celebrate. Let me see if I can turn this puppy up. So yeah, so hopefully that works itself out a little bit better. I changed my levels, changed my mics up. So let me know if that's better, right? I don't know why it would be low, at all. All right, good. Yeah, I had to change up, just had to change up a couple things. Nothing crazy. I'll tell y'all this, right? Some of y'all know I'm in the comic books, right? So I got this omnibus, right? This right here, Bitterroot. Man, I've been waiting to read this, man. So if you've seen Sinners, this is better than Sinners. Like this is literally better than Sinners, right? So if you've seen Sinners, this is better than Sinners, right? And so, that right there, get that for real. Oh, that mug is thick though. I mean, you should see the art in that puppy. It's just ridiculously crazy. Like, no, let me show you. Let me show you this one beginning scene, and you'll see what I'm saying. The art in this puppy is ridiculous, right? Look at this, y'all. Look at that. Do you see that? Do you see that right there? You see that? Look at that. Look how good that looks. That is crazy, ain't it? Wow. Anyway, that's the first page of the dang comic book. Like the first real page. So anyway. So yeah, I just had to show you that because that's what I'm reading, right? No, I shouldn't be no copyright infringement. People show books and give all kinds of stuff on comic books all the time, man. And I see it in all kinds of different ways. So if it is, then I don't have this channel where it would make money anyway. So maybe I should change that just in case we get 100 billion views all of a sudden, right? I go viral. So yes, CT, I hope that there's no copyright infringement either, right? But that's a whole black team right there, for real. That's a whole black team that wrote that book. It won two big, basically Grammy Awards for being like the best comic writing, all that kind of stuff in the years that it was just running. So anyway, so look, all right. So that being said, let's kind of talk a little bit, y'all. Because I think this is obviously I think this is an important topic. You know, it seems like I keep running into AI stuff all the time. It's almost crazy triggering for me. But it's not a bad thing, right? You all y'all know that AI is not just hype. There's nothing really, none of you all will be unfamiliar with that. Um, but it's kind of like this. I'd ask you a question, and I'd love for you to throw a comment in the chat. What do you think are going to be some challenges with team effectiveness, agile teams, any kind of teams, right? When it comes to incorporating AI into those teams? What do you think are going to be some of the biggest challenges, right? Or what do you think is going to be some of the biggest benefits, right? I'd love for you to throw a couple of those challenges, drop those in the chat, right? Because I think it's going to be amazing, right? So I kind of look at it like this, which is interesting. Um, I really, in my opinion, right? I think the game has already changed. I really do, right? There's no question in my mind about the game already changing. I really do feel like the game has already changed. And that right there may be difficult for people to deal with, right? Um, I think that there are some teams that are really on the cutting edge, right? And so it's going to bleed into larger organizations at some point. Um, but when I think about, traditional team effectiveness, I'm thinking about, schedule feedback loops, right? Um, coaches that help pull out that gut thing inside of teams. Um, and I'm thinking also how feedback is delayed and real-time information is delayed. Even though we get really close to it in terms of Agile, we try our best to get as close to it as possible. But the more real-time we are, the better it's going to be, right? I just think that's going to change for us, right? Because I really think that AI gives us more real-time team feedback. Um, a Here's the one thing that I've seen recently, right? Which is kind of crazy to me, right? What I'm seeing is more sentiment in the AI that I'm playing around with right now, right? It just feels a little different, almost a little different emotionally. Does that make sense? Am I crazy? Have you all noticed that? Right? Um, you know, yeah, it just feels a little different, right? Um, and there have been several people that I've talked to that feel the same way. And when I talked about some of the updates that several of these um AIs have gotten over in 2025, it's been crazy, right? So I think that there's a couple things here that at least come to my mind, and I kind of want to write them down to some degree for you. So let me see if I got this thing set up with this iPad real quick, and excuse my handwriting, so you all know that up front, right? Okay, let me just switch over to that right there. And I think that there is something, where we have to make sure, and I don't know if we had to make sure, but I think there is a human awareness thing that exists within us. We do things a certain way as humans. We can be truly exploratory. We can go beyond routine things and really use our minds to solve really heavy cognitive problems. Um, think that that is, kind of important, right? So where AI may hit that routine stuff, so we can go beyond that. So I think human awareness is absolutely critical in terms of how we think about, AI moving forward, right? But the other side of that is, making sure that there's an element of AI augmentation because I don't think that AI replaces us, y'all. I really think AI is going to augment the skill set that we have or the things that we do. So, for really good teams, right? So, really good teams that exist, if you really think about it, um, they're already performing at a higher level. So, if you augment them even more, they're going to be that much better, right? Because I think that teams have to, in a VUCA world, in a volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous world, right? Things change so much, right? And because things change so much, we got to be aware as humans, but the augmentation is going to help us, right? I mean, you think about faster decision makers. So you can imagine a set of problems come in, a set of problems come in that's similar to that, that maybe one or two factors off, and it can help us to be able to get to an answer on that problem sooner, or at least understanding the things that we tried in the past to try to help get to a decision a lot sooner. So for me, when I really think about this whole thing right here, I'm saying to myself, and you all tell me, because this is the equation that I have on my mind, right? Human awareness plus AI augmentation is where we're going to get not just, I'm gonna put an equal sign here, where we're gonna get what I'm gonna call elite team performance. And I think elite team performance leads to higher levels of effectiveness, if that makes sense, right? Because the performance is typically around the task that we do, right? And being able to perform better on those things is going to give us a lot more stuff. So it is one of those things where, human awareness plus AI augmentation is going to be the thing that's going to skyrocket teams to the next level. If you take a look at this equation, y'all, tell me, am I off? Am I crazy here? In terms of how I'm thinking? um in terms of that combination, because I just don't think that we're going to just be replaced, right? um just hasn't gotten to that place yet, right? Just hasn't, right? And since I don't think we're going to be replaced, I think that next thing is like, yeah, I remember a show called The Bionic Man. I don't know, The Bionic Man, Bionic Woman. Back in the day, my grandmother used to watch it, right? And again, the bionic stuff augmented the human, right? And I think this is a case where there's going to be that same thing that happens, augment our knowledge, augment many of our capabilities, right? Our knowledge, our skills, our abilities, other capabilities, right? Is going to be able to enhance those things and just augment them in a way where we'll be able to do things much more effectively, a lot better overall, right? So now here's the deal, right? Am I crazy? Is this a crazy equation, y'all? Seriously, let me know, right? Remember, I'm writing a dissertation, so y'all may be helping me out here, right? Here's the deal. Let me talk through a couple comments here, right? So, I agree, prompt engineering, right? That knowledge is key, right? AI is really still just a tool. It absolutely is a tool. You having the right skill set to utilize it to its extreme level is extremely important, right? So I agree with that, right? Then over reliance on it, right? Erode thinking skills, right? It can, right? So you got to use it in an appropriate way, right? And for a team, it's interesting, right? Hey Ken, how you doing, man? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm saying hey to Patrick again and CT. How you doing? Drop your information, say hi in the chat, right? It's just one of those things where it's just like, this is interesting, right? It is it is one of those things where I just see more and more this just changing, right? And I just love it, right? So I'm very, very happy, right? I'm very, very happy, right? Um, so here's the deal. Let me talk to you about something else, and then I'll come to your question in just a moment, Ken. Um, but let's talk about this a little bit more, because I don't think it stops there, because I think there's ways that AI kind of boost team performance at this point, right? It's what teams are doing today, right? Um, so one of those things that, well, let me get rid of this right here. So good, good, good. Yeah. So we got the decibels right, right? Um, Couple things that I have seen, right? AI is planning tools, right? AI being used as planning tools, right? Um, Priorities in terms of backlogs, um, considering estimation, considering risk, right? Um, and helping a team to be able to plan around those things, right? Those things actually exist, right? In terms of feedback loops, feedback loops that definitely have retrospectives powered by AI at this point, but beyond that, more feedback loops, right? Because it's not just about the blockers. It's not just about process stuff. It is also about product because, if you really know Scrum whatsoever, it helps, right? And then more real-time feedback, right? Understanding the team's tone, um, understand the way that they collaborate is going to help that team get better because AI can help them, right? There are organizations out here that are creating their own versions of AI, as you already know, and they are creating coaches for teams. So that is an amazing thing by itself. There are people that I know that go through a coaching session with AI and then determine when they want to pull a human in. It's just amazing, right? And so I just love it. I just love it. For me, I just love what I'm seeing. Um, you know, so here's the deal. Agentic systems, right? Agentic systems, for those that do not know, and you tell me if we have the same idea here, Ken, right? Um, are more like humans, right? They autonomously perceive, plan, act in the pursuit of goals, right? And so that means that there's speed to that, there's scale to that, there's intelligence, and it can equal intelligence beyond human limits, right? So is that what you're thinking when you're talking agentic systems? Can, okay? Um, I believe that is, right? Here's the deal, and here's what's really interesting. Last year, Ken, I went to a PSYOP conference about leadership. And there was a guy who worked for an organization. And one of the things that he talked about, which was really interesting, Ken, that I started doing more investigation into, is leaderless teams. Leaderless teams. So, you know how we always talk about self managed teams, but we're talking about leaderless teams that have an AI agent as a teammate. So the AI is embedded on the team, and it's not just it's not just doing routine stuff, right? It has way more human traits, right? This is what this guy was talking to me about. So how do you lead as a leader a team that has AI human combination, right? In a way where they don't need a leader. In a way where they don't need a leader, right? And I thought that was quite interesting, right? For me, when I think about that, I think us as agilists need to run for that opportunity, right? Because what we always talk about is self-managed teams. And how many of us really have self-managed teams or really have built self-managed teams, right? And so if you really think about it, we should be running toward those type of teams where, hey, we do have agency or agentic systems that exist on a team. Now, it'd be a whole different thing if the team was full of agency by itself and had no humans on it. That would be different. But we don't tend to trust those situations. We don't, right? Because here's the deal. An agentic system can take initiative, not just react. So can you imagine? I mean, just think about this for a second, right? Imagine like my computer here. not just reacting to what I tell it, not just reacting to me, but being able to take initiative, right? And not this initiative that is routine or scripted, right? Take initiative. It sees a volatile or complex thing just all of a sudden come out of nowhere, right? Just kind of appear. And it's able to take initiative on that, right? Is able to take initiative. It's not initiative, it's able to react to that, right? But forget that. What about if it's able to take initiative even before those things actually occur? Do you understand the distinction? I'm not talking about reacting to conditions. I'm talking about being able to take initiative in Vuku conditions without reacting. See, that's what an agentic system can do. An agentic system should be able to. Now, here's the deal, right? Because we talked. I think you know here Patrick mentioned to eliminate mundane tasks, right? Mundane things, right? But here's the deal. Think about an agentic system that doesn't worry about the mundane stuff. Like it leaves the mundane stuff for its little brother, the 1.0 of itself, right? So it says, I'm 10.0, you're 1.0, 1.0 do that mundane stuff over there. But what about the agentic system, the 10.0, right? That can take complex tasks and break it down, right? That would be ridiculous, right? But this is what they're trying to build into these teams now, right? Okay, so then another thing, right? Decision making. Man, here's the great thing about us being humans. Uh, Look, if I'm off base here, Ken and everybody else, if I'm off base, let me know, right? Because I'm just thinking about this, right? So we don't trust AI making decisions by itself. We don't, right? We really don't, right? We don't. That's just facts, right? And that's just the way that it is. It is that way, right? So what about the situation? It's like there's one thing to have decisions made, but your decision can change based on the context. You understand? Your decision could change based on the context. Can you, okay, an agentic system would be able to do that, right? We can do it. So I'm talking about really human like, y'all. So am I crazy here, right? So then, we knock out some things, we hit a wall, and you know what? We adapt. An agentic system would be able to do that, right? Be able to adapt over time. And the thing that's ridiculous, right, is that an agentic system would be able to be way more effective at doing that than us because it can take the emotions out of it, right? All the connections between the people, right? The politics, right? It can take all that stuff out. So I'm just like ah ah. What about triggering other things that it needs based on the decisions that it's making after it's taking initiative, based on the context that it's dealing with? So, it's one of those things where realistically, I remember having a conversation with this guy, and realistically, we were talking about a digital teammate, a digital teammate, not not I'm going in doing prompt engineering. I'm talking about a digital teammate. That's what I believe you mean by agentic systems, right? Um, and here's the deal. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it, right? I'm looking forward to it, right? And one of the things that remains true, at least for me, trust me, as I move toward completing this PhD, I will try to figure out how I can pilot or get into areas that are more focused on this kind of stuff. Like this is very serious, right? Because I want to move away from what we traditionally are doing because I really do support it and I want to see it being built over time. So I'm excited about it, if I'm being honest with you, Ken. Like literally, right? I'm excited about it. Because an agentic system would be able to have goal directed behaviors. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like for me right now, for me right now, I have a lot of goal centered behaviors, right? But can you imagine that without my downfalls, right? I mean, can you imagine that? Like, I got to go lose body fat, right? But I ate bags of gummy bears as I was driving up to Chicago, as I was driving to Bloomington, then Chicago to take care of things, right? And so here's the deal: you see an issue, right? The issue I see is the complexity and contextualization of everyday tasks because the agents do have the ability to perform these tasks. However, they don't know in advance what it is that they are to do. But that's the problem. For me, that's not an agentic system, right? The number one characteristic that I see in an agentic system is one, being able to take initiative, two, being able to adapt over time. So if we had a real agentic system, then we would have something that would try something and learn and adapt. Try something else and learn and adapt. Try something else and learn and adapt until it gets it right. And then it's learned at that point, right? And so for me, I understand that, right? And I get complexity and contextualization. But here's the deal, and just be real honest, right? None of us was born this way. Like Ken, Patrick, CT, you all have experience, years of experience doing what you do. And at some point, you didn't have that experience. At some point, you was a blank slate on some of these things. And you had to go in, crash and burn, and then grow from it, thereby being able to take on more complex challenges. Because it's kind of like you got to that step and then you leveled up. You got to that step and then you leveled up. You got to that step and then you leveled up, right? That's what you're doing. So just imagine the speed at which they could do it. Am I thinking crazy here, right? So I see the issue that you're saying, but that's saying the issue exists without giving them the opportunity to adapt over time. But if they can take initiation and they can adapt, isn't that the essence of learning? Experimentation minimum. Forget learning. Experimentation, right? And experiments is how you can grow and learn, right? And so I have a situation here where they can do that, right? And yeah, man. So yeah. So we're really talking about when we talk about human agency, right? Our brains grow from learning, trying something and learning, or it's passed down to us, right? Now that makes it even doper, right? Just imagine if we can exchange with these systems and we can pass knowledge to them that they can take on and move further, right? Like I can teach my kid how to fish and let them know all of the positive things and then tell them stories about the negative things and they don't have to try the negative ones for them to win immediately, right? You know, so so absolutely a lot of living and learning, right? Going through and growing through these things. That's all we've done as humans, right? That's really all we have done as humans, right? And if you really think about it, that's all we've done as humans. Is it not just simply this equation? Human awareness plus AI augmentation equals that elite team performance, right? So really that augmentation can take it to the next level. But now, if you talk about agency, like for real, if you're talking agency, don't we eliminate that if we have true agency in these systems at this point? Don't we eliminate that? Don't we eliminate this plus right here? And not even say augmentation, but AI equals elite team performance. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? I mean, let me know. Am I wrong? I don't know. It sounds exciting to me. Sounds exciting. Y'all better get your hustle on. Thanks for the validation, Ken. Thanks for the validation. Seriously, right? Because I be thinking these thoughts, man. And so, like, okay, all right. So then I say to myself, right, what's another key element, right, that would be in an agentic system that would be interesting? An agentic system could extend itself. Just kind of walk with me for a second, right? Because I'm thinking about this, right? Like, legitimately, an agentic system could extend itself, right? Can you imagine? I mean, imagine an agentic system calling an API. An agentic system connects to Google Maps, and then it just got all that information too. It's like it can extend itself, right? An agentic system would be interesting because I'm also thinking about it being able to self repair, write its own genetics. The limits of our genetics is in the fact that it's physical. But now I'm talking about something that may not be physical. So DNA is nothing but a code. So now what I'm thinking to myself is, what if there was this code that didn't have a physical limitation? I you know, hey, I wish I had a better way to say it, man. But I think this is interesting. So I like, wow, man. So when you say MCP, please let everybody know what you're talking about, right? I think is model context protocols, right? Um, I could be wrong, but let me know, right? Uh, right? That's crazy, right? So, um, can you imagine? Like, I'm thinking to myself, right? So I was just having a conversation. I got a class today, right? So I got a little CSM class, right? And yeah, okay, all right. So that's what we're talking about, right? Um, what's up? What's up? What's up, Miss Denise? All right. So here's the deal, right? You know, Mr. What's his name? Anyway, the book called Drive, right? I forget the author's name. It's just not coming to me right now. But in that book, talked about purpose, autonomy, and mastery. Once you take money off the table, being things that help to motivate, right? The key, one of the biggest keys is autonomy, right? And when knowledge workers don't have autonomy, we just flip out, right? But you think about a computer and autonomy, right? Imagine for a second that the computer did not need human prompts. It had all the autonomy because it could take initiative. That is crazy. That's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy. Like, I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. I mean, I could be wrong. You understand? I could be wrong, but that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, wow, man. Yeah, Ken, that was good. That was a good question, man. That was a good question. Here's the other problem, right? One more problem. And then I got to open the floor for questions that you all may have because you may be here to get some questions answered, right? We can continue the topic, but I'll open the floor. So if you have questions that you want to get answered, you're welcome to drop them in the chat or I can position you so you can come on the show and we can talk about it, kind of face to face, right? So if it's more complex, it's better for you to come on the show. If it's just a simple question, please drop it in the comments. So please drop your questions in the comments. Also, if you like the show, do me a favor, like the show, like it, like it, like it, like it, like it, right? So and then we can make sure that we let everybody know that we having a good time here. Here's my final my final thing maybe. Unless there's some questions, then we'll continue to talk. Okay. Here's the one thing I'm thinking about, Ken and everybody else. The one thing I'm thinking about, which is crazy, is memory. Do you understand in terms of memory, right? Memory, and you attach to memory reasoning. Can you imagine having access to all your past actions through everything you've tried? I mean, the steps, all the steps, everything. I'd be dangerous at that point. You understand? I'd be super dangerous. How dangerous would you be if you had access to all your past actions? Good and bad. Good and bad. I'm serious. Good and bad. Serious. I'm just curious, right? Wow. I can only imagine. You know how dangerous I'd be? You know how dope my classes would be? Like for real. It's kind of crazy and ridiculous. I love it though. I love it. That was a good throw in there, Ken. I really like that for real. So yeah, so obviously for me, with agentic systems, I'm obviously pushing in that direction toward that. Obviously, I want more self-directed teams, self-managed teams, right? Yeah, like John Shaft, man, is gonna be dangerous, man. But let me tell y'all something. I have to say this because I just got to. I got to throw this in. The Pope is from Chicago. And here's the crazy thing: the Pope is from Chicago, from the south suburbs of Chicago, from Dalton, right? And he's a White Sox fan. South Side all day. I just need to throw that out there. Since I'm a Chicagoan, the Pope is from Chicago. You understand? So look, let me just explain this, right? We got the coolest president and we got the dang on Pope. Come on, man. You can't beat Chicago. You feel me? Who who else? Who else in the United States of America got the baddest president and got the Pope? Whoa, man. That's nothing but Chicago all day. All day. All day. Right here, baby. Got the baddest president, the coolest president, and the Pope. And the Pope is cool too. You know what, man? Let me tell you something. This might sound crazy. I ain't never thought about going to Rome or to the Vatican, but I'm gonna go for he died. Because I got to go represent Chicago, where Chicago at. You understand? Go make sure I bring him an Italian beef sandwich. You understand? Make sure he good. Go talk to his brothers. You feel me? Woo! I'll tell you, man. The Pope and Obama, Chicago, all day, every day. Oh man, oh man, I love it, man. I love it. Oh man, I'm going to the Vatican, y'all. Don't know when, but I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take some deep dish pieces over there for him and a Polish sausage. That's what I'm gonna do. That's exactly what I'm gonna do, Patrick. I'm gonna take deep dish pizza and a Polish sausage for him. Make sure he all right. Make sure they don't catch him up too bad. He gonna be like, hey, come on in. Let me show you all the secrets. Oh man, boy, I tell you, man, dope, dope. You can't beat it. At least I can't beat it. That was my biggest highlight over the weekend. Oh, my stuff about to run out of juice. That was my biggest highlight over the weekend, y'all. Can't lie to you. It really was. It really, really was. It's one of those things that you can't beat that, man. You can't beat that. And that was a surprise, for real. So yeah, that was a good thing, man. I gotta plug in my stuff because it's time where these mosquitoes come out and they be trying to get me. I got sweet blood. They don't need to get me. Sweet blood with all this melon. Be popping. Anyway, y'all. All right, so anybody with any questions about anything? I know we talked about a few things, but man, that was an interesting thing. Have y'all figured out how y'all gonna take advantage of all this craziness that's happening with the ups and downs of tariffs and all this other stuff? Have you found where you can carve out little opportunities? Hopefully, you have been kind of thinking that, right? If you saw my post last week, I'm gonna be doing this every other week now. So then we can jump on here and have a little conversation, right? Um, we'll do like we normally do, topic. But most of my stuff will be moving closer to team effectiveness because that's what I love to do now, right? I mean, I always did it, right? So yeah, so yeah, and then if you didn't know, Bearded Eagles getting will become a legacy brand, and I'll be moving forward with eight typical team effectiveness. So those things are happening. Um, just taking little time with it so that I can get it all together. So you see some things coming out with it, but understand this is a journey that I'm taking over the dissertation at the time I'm doing the dissertation. So it's not going to be a fast thing. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, right? Let's see. Your original break in tech was teaching children at Rice back in the 90s. I'm wondering what's happening now in the AI camp space. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, yeah. The only problem you have, right? The problem that you have with AI um, is that we get access to the stuff that is for late adopters. So with all these improvements, they're doing things that we don't even get to see. Um, and so we kind of get in that general adoption wave that's somewhere between early and late adopters. That's cool, but that means you're not on the cutting edge. So it makes it interesting. Yeah, was you talking about the Vatican, man? Is Diddy Disney? Hey, man, you know, I'm gonna be good. I mean, I know somebody who went, and I won't say what they said, but I didn't find it to be the most positive thing that they said, right? So, at least they didn't present it in such a positive light. So I'm not gonna say nothing, but it's gonna be a very different perspective when I go and check it out. Oh yeah, the AI development is crazy. It is just it's ridiculous. But the pace of change has been crazy in itself, right? Um, you think 50 years ago, how different the United States of America was 50 years ago. Like, and 50 years ago is in the 70s. I'm not even talking about 1950s. You understand? So it just is a different world, different life, different all that stuff. So whoa, just amazing, right? Um, as an educator, I say there's a lot of organizations, companies, and the like claiming they know what's best. I typically look toward free video broadcasts and seminars. I get it. I'm with that. What I would say to you though is that here's my problem with education. A lot of educators have no practical know-how. Like they just have the theory, and that's it. And I think one of the beautiful things about us being agilists is that we can incorporate theory and practice, which makes us extremely dangerous for all parties, right? And so that's the reason why I went and got that evidence-based coaching, you know, minor, right? So, so yeah, symposiums, conferences, yeah, the good old YouTube University. YouTube, I love YouTube. Like it's ridiculous. Like YouTube is ridiculous, right? Yeah, the adjustments are coming fast with AI. Lots of organizations are taking it in-house and fine-tuning it to get it right. Yeah, I agree. A lot of organizations is doing that because at the end of the day, you can't compete if you all are running the same. It makes it much harder to compete if you have the same exact stuff. You have no competitive advantage. And so most definitely they should take it in-house and try to figure out how they can make it work best with themselves and then make sh- make sure they internally there are two versions ahead and then they start to sell the one that is behind, to other companies that haven't quite gotten it right, right? But AI is moving extremely quick. You can't really get around it. You can't really get around it. I mean, I don't even, yeah, it's kind of crazy. You just can't get around it, right? So I love it. I love it, right? You just got, for me, you just can't beat it, right? You know, then when I go and, oh, yeah, yeah, here's what else we can talk about, right? Here's the deal, right? If I was a Scrum Master, well, as a Scrum Master or Agile coach, right now, if I was on the ground, I think you are in a time where you can be extremely effective, especially incorporating AI into your workflow, right? Um, because I'm not talking about event support, right? Mm-mm, no way. When I really think about it, right? I remember Shador, man. I'm trying to prove myself right. I'm trying to prove myself right rather than prove others wrong in terms of competition. Yeah, Shador, yeah, that's a whole interesting situation in itself, right? That big old fall. Yeah, that was interesting. Couple days of real interesting conversations on that one. But I wish him the best. But if there's a team to get into QB limbo in, it definitely is the Browns. Like for real. Like for real. They almost like the Bears, man, where we just couldn't we missed so many QBs. It's crazy. So it just makes it interesting, right? Now here's the deal, right? What I was saying is I think a good place that AI can be helpful, way more helpful, is in more real-time information, period. Um, you know, I think that the best thing, at least for me, the best thing that I found with AI in this current state, in the current environment, and me going in and working with organizations, is I found that co-creation with AI made me way more effective. Again, co-creation with AI made me way more effective. Way, 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 way more effective. On a coaching gig, like on a literal coaching gig, it made me way more effective. I was able to get a lot more done for the client, legitimately, right? Because certain things didn't take as long. So AI was definitely a good co-creation partner, right? Um, and I'm not saying that I'm not trust but verify, right? Because it hallucinates, right? But it was when I say it was amazing, it was amazing. Um, You know, I've written things using AI that 50 to 80% savings in time. And that's with getting it right. I mean, I'm not talking about getting it wrong. I'm talking about with getting it right. You know, yeah, it's hard to beat, man. Really, truly, it's hard to beat. Um, so yeah, co-creation. If I was as a agile coach that's been on the ground recently, co-creation is what I would be thinking if I'm a Scrum coach. If I'm an agile coach, I'm thinking co-creation. Co-creation. I don't know. I don't see any logical reason why you wouldn't use AI to help you co-create great stuff at this point in time. You feel me? Am I wrong here? Right? Because that's why I've seen the value at the most for me is in co-creation. I'm not talking about the silly people who don't know anything that's trying to use AI to create everything. That's not what I'm talking about. Because you got to know that the stuff is right. So it's like a family tree. There's so many family trees out here with wrong information in it. And then people just copy that information. And the next thing you know, you got more family trees with wrong information than right information. I think they're the same way. You gotta get in the thick of it. You gotta learn, you gotta grow. And if you do all that, then it's going to help you, right? So I just love it, right? Um, Personal assistant is how I've approached it for my current employment. Yeah, I agree. But to me, is it really a personal assistant where you just doling out things for it to do, or are you actually co-creating with it, right? I just use AI to co-create with me, right? I don't need it for anything else. I mean, I guess you could use it for all kinds, but for me, co-creation is the most important. There you go. Yeah. And you parse the information, self and verify after looking at its references. Yeah. Yeah. AI references be ghost references. I was using this thing called, I won't even throw the name out there. I was using a piece of software that allows you that actually looks at the citations and gives you like a family tree to some degree of its connection to citations and all this other kind of stuff, right? Which I found to be useful because that means I'm in a position where I miss less literature. I didn't use it. I actually didn't use it, but I understand what it's like in theory, is what I'm trying to tell you, right? So, you know, it just is what it is. All right. So that being said, looks like we can start wrapping up. So next week I got a ACSM, CSC, SPSM. This week I got this CSM, having a good time. So here's the deal. It looks like we've answered all the questions that we can answer. Yeah, using it to get things started. AI, yeah, yeah. Then put the brain work, clean it up, and flush it out. Yeah, I think that's a great way to utilize it, right? I've done that too before, right? So I mean, so anyway, the point is that AI is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Jump in it as best you can, otherwise get left behind. Okay, that's the statement, like literally. Okay, y'all. Well, I think we're good to go. I think we're good to go. So again, we're gonna do this every other week. So our next one would be 2 weeks from now on May 26th. And I put it out there sooner versus later. I put it out there tomorrow morning so then we can at least have it available. So yeah, that's what life is like, y'all. So on that note, look, I think that's it for me. Hopefully everybody else is good. So I'm gonna tell you, y'all have an amazing night. Well, I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bring your questions. I enjoyed this topic. This topic was really, really fun for me. Um, Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, CT. Thanks, Denise, right? Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate you bringing up that agentic question. That was really on point. So love it, love it, love it. Okay. All right then. Yeah, happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there, for real. All right, y'all have a good one. I will see you on next go round. Hey, peace, everybody.